Hello, welcome to Book Nook on WYSO. I'm Vick Mickunas. It's my pleasure to welcome to the program today Dr. Sunita Reddy. She's got a new novel out. It's called Before We Were Women. And she joins us right here in studio in Yellow Springs. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Wow, before we get into this novel, I think we need to talk about your day and night job because I can see a definite connection. Tell us what you do.
I am a physician. I'm an OBGYN, gynecologist, and an obstetrician, to be specific. I have served the community in that position for over 2 decades. I am based at Kettering Medical Center. I take care of women. That's what I do.
And how on earth did you have enough time to write a novel?
Well, to do anything that your heart desires, you have to make time. And that's what I did over the years. I learned to make time. Mm-hmm. And I had a story to tell, and I said, okay, I'm going to sit down and write it.
And the story that you had to tell, where did it come from?
Well, I work with, like I just said, I work with women all day. And I'm in a unique position. You know, I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, I'm their family practitioner, I'm a specialist. And I'm in a unique position to be there with them at the most exhilarating times of their lives, like a childbirth. And I'm also there to share their most devastating trials, devastating times, like the diagnosis of a cancer, or a loss of a baby, or death of a spouse. Mm-hmm. So, and at the end of the day, I'm a woman, and I can relate to those trials. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, I can tell these stories.
You have some central characters here, but you have one in particular who I think serves as a fulcrum for all the other action because she's had this trauma in her life and she's dealing with it. And her name is Anita. Tell us about her.
Anita is a young girl who's trying to find herself, who is struggling to belong. She is trying to find a peer group that she fits into. That's a struggle that almost all of us have experienced it growing up. And belonging, either in a peer group or in the community in general, is so much about how we feel about ourselves, about our appearance, about our background, about our parents, about our culture and religion. And the irony of this is all of these aspects are really beyond our control. So she is in the midst of trying to find herself, and in the process, like most of us, are only a step away from misfortunes and mistakes. And so she gets herself into a situation where she creates more trouble for herself. And that is the story I tell. And my goal was to not only create a character who has insecurity issues, but also by the end of the story, my goal is to convey to the readers that yes, we all have our struggles, but we are also inherently strong enough to overcome them through the help of mentors, teachers, parents, friends, and we can all become women at the end of the day. Mm.
Well, I noticed you're being careful about her trauma, and I have great respect for novelists who want readers to be able to discover the story for themselves without me bludgeoning my way through it and giving away all the good stuff. We have two other very central characters here, and you go back and forth in time. As you open, we're in the present, so to speak, and then we go back and we flash back. And when I initially started reading it, I was kind of going, I don't know, because we had a discussion on email. I said, well, am I going to really want to read this book? Is this going to be interesting to me? And then we got a little ways in, I got a little ways in, and you set your hook. And what worked for me was, and this is something that kind of binds the story together in a very fun but strange way. And it's Freddie Mercury. What is it about Freddie Mercury? Are you like a big fan of Queen and Freddie Mercury? Or do you remember something when you were a kid with Freddie Mercury? What's the deal?
Well, of course, Freddie Mercury has millions of fans all over the world. And there's a cultural connection. I mean, I'm Indian and his parents were Indian. And he was very different from most other people I knew growing up. And Bohemian Rhapsody, all the songs, Queen, we all knew those characters and songs growing up. And somehow I felt that I had to create a famous character for Anita, that she could compare how she was being treated by the community and her parents, and how Freddie Mercury was also judged, but finally was accepted by the world as a very talented singer. So in looking for that analogy or comparison, I found that Freddie Mercury's story kind of fit well into not only Anita's life, but all the other two protagonists who were also exposed to his music and connected very differently. Their takeaway message was very different from this one Live Aid.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Book Nook on WYSO. I've been joined in studio by Dr. Sunita Reddy. Her new novel is Before We Were Women. You're listening to 91.3 WYSO, sharing community voices through inspired storytelling. You've just alluded to these other protagonists. Tell us about Ashley.
Ashley is a young girl born into a very wealthy family. I brought her character to talk about a universal issue that some women may go through, which is domestic violence. I wanted to highlight the fact that domestic violence happens even in rich families. And the definition of domestic violence has evolved over time. And I wanted my readers and my listeners to know that the violence doesn't have to be just physical. It can be emotional, psychological, verbal. So I wanted to convey that message that domestic violence can lurk in different forms, in families that you don't think that will go through it, will have it too. That is the part of Ashley's story.
And then we have a character who became very dear to my heart because she's the world's biggest reader. Tell us about her.
Well, you're talking about Robin, the third protagonist, and the world of words is her world. She also has struggles, emotional upheaval, and about her identity, about who she is, about where she belongs, because she has been adopted.
Mm-hmm.
And so adopted children, they're trying to discover who they are. And that can lead to a lot of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to allude that emotional struggle she's having into her story.
You just mentioned adoption, and that is one of the underlying themes here, and not just for Robin. And I think some of the most poignant scenes for me as a reader are when Anita is going to this cafe. And she keeps going there because she wants to see somebody. And this is also where I every time I read a novel, I'll usually have a favorite peripheral character. And can you guess who my favorite peripheral character is?
Paul.
Good guess. Excellent. I love him.
Well, thank you for connecting with his character.
Do you know why I like him so much?
I cannot seem to guess, but he's really a very likable, stable, confident character, in spite having his own physical ailments.
He's just got a big heart. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I liked him. And Anita, she's old school. She's got this job where you give us this inside look at a care facility, and she works there. And she's got that old school work ethic. She's like a flashback to the past. And you clearly have some insights into this kind of world. Tell us about this environment and why you decided to write so much about it.
Living with disability and chronic physical ailments is hard. But for some people, there's no choice but to push forward, to show strength, and to gain strength from other people around themselves, to give back to the community makes people accept themselves better, because by trying to help others or trying to give back, they feel like they can wash away their mistakes, and I don't want to use the term sins, but they themselves perceive them as sins. And it helps them redeem themselves, helping them cure themselves of the idea that they are beyond redemption.
Mm. Dr. Sunita Reddy joins us in studio. Her new novel is Before We Were Women. And I'm going to take a wild guess that you've probably spent a little time in North Carolina.
Very little time.
Very little?
Very little.
Really? Why did you pick North Carolina for so much of this?
I had to pick a geographical area where the three protagonists, who have very different upbringing and lives, I had to find the right places for them to be living, and then they have to move around to different places for their education and work.
Mm.
But by the end, they all have to congregate in an area where they live together.
Mm.
So when I scouted out areas where it seemed like the geographical area where these girls grow up and come together, they have to be believable. Mm-hmm. And I felt that when it comes to schools and education and universities, their jobs, And I could feel like these three cities, and more than the three cities, I alluded to in the book, really can offer the characters to become real.
We get the sense, reading it, that there are these communities where people, the diaspora from other countries like India, have settled in large areas. Is it really like that?
Yes, there are many areas like that. And the story kind of starts in the 70s and then goes through the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, I mean. So as you can tell, over time, the Indian diaspora has become more fragmented, more confident, more economically successful, more mainstream, whereas 50 years ago, it was different.
They were more insular then?
Yes. So I wanted to project that part of my observation in this book, like how the Indian diaspora has evolved in this country and has integrated into the society, contributing in a very positive and successful way.
I'm going to guess from your job that you spend a lot of time observing interpersonal relationships between people, because you certainly have a great eye for relationships. As we read in your novel, some of these relationships, like the one between Robin and her dad, that is such a sweet relationship. And the relationship between Robin and her dog. And you really put me through it with that particular pairing. But we'll let readers discover what that's all about. And then also the fear of relationships. We have Ashley, who has grown up with sort of a reluctance to get involved in relationships, because when you're a child, you see things that influence your adult years forever, whether you want them to or not, right?
Yes, they do. Absolutely. In a very powerful way. More than you think.
And especially for Anita.
Yes.
And Anita, she's really the beating heart of this novel. But then, near the end, we get a fourth protagonist in here. And I'm not going to say anything about this woman, but you're having fun with this.
Yeah.
I want to know what kind of stuff you like to read. Who are some of the writers that you enjoy? What kind of genres are you into?
I've belonged to a book club for 18 years, the same book club for 18 years. And we pick books of every genre. We pick popular American writers, Middle Eastern writers, Indian writers. And I've been an avid reader from childhood. I almost always read a book a week. Some of my favorite writers have been Anthony Doerr, All the Light You Cannot See, and Arundhati Roy, The God of Small Things, and Jhumpa Lahiri, short stories and such. So many good writers. I've tried to read Shakespeare many times.
Shakespeare
many times, but have always been unsuccessful to be able to finish a novel. I've gone from an abridged version to more of an abridged version to further abridged, but still unable to connect with the language. But I understand the kind of stories he's trying to tell. So, well, I mean, no particular genre, no particular writer.
Okay, so I assume you get up really early in the morning to write, because you have a character in here who does that. And I thought, that's Sunita.
I've always been a very disciplined, driven person. Getting up early was a habit.
Mm.
And part of Elena, the fourth character, is
We've got a name.
Was I not supposed to give away the
No,
name?
it's your prerogative. What about her, Elena?
I can see myself in her being driven. Not all of her personality, but I would wake up with ideas to write, and I would quickly jot them down on my phone, because some days I just don't have the time to write in the morning. Then I would, write those down later on paper.
Well, I've got to say, when we have a birth in this book, it certainly seems real, like whoever wrote this has experienced being there.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And in an average week, how many births do you participate in?
Well, in a year, I'm probably involved in some 150 to 200 deliveries.
In a year?
In a year.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
that is, that's what we do.
I understand. So do you get called up in the middle of the night and say, you got to come now?
Oh, absolutely. Many times. That's a normal thing for us.
Wow. And when you take time off, do you just say, don't call me? I mean, do you get a vacation?
Never do. We do. Yes, we do get vacation. But my phone is always on.
Wow. That's pretty cool. The book is Before We Were Women. Sunita Reddy is my guest. Dr. Reddy has somehow found the time, even though she's bringing 200 babies into the world on an annual basis, to write this novel. And I read it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was a tearjerker when we get to the end. We're just kind of going, oh. I mean, you were just like really, when you do this thing with Robin, I was just like, oh. I mean, that was hard for me. You get emotionally involved, and that's what you want, right? You want us to get emotionally involved.
Yes, because people are emotional. Our lives are emotions are a center part of all living beings. Mm-hmm. If you take emotion away, what is life?
Pretty empty. And we do have kind of a love story here, but I wouldn't call it a romance. If you had to categorize this book, where would you put it?
It's a contemporary women's fiction about empowerment, resilience, sisterhood, of making yourself heard and count, of bringing things together so you become who you want to become in your life, and find power in who you are.
Well, they did a nice job on it. I love this cover art. Tell me the story on this image.
Well, we brainstormed for ideas and narrowed them down to a couple of ideas. And I have a friend who is an artist, who's a painter. And I showed them both to her. And one of the choices was a mother holding a child and walking in the woods. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, that cover kind of will lead the readers to the idea that this book is going to be about a mother and a child. And she said this book is much more than that. So she kind of veered me into picking this one.
I think it was a good choice. And Anita is a secret artist. I don't think it's a spoiler to say. Anita, she works stuff out with her art. She's got these just incredibly overwhelming feelings about things. And she expresses herself. She's created her own kind of art form. Yet, she really doesn't reveal this to most people. She doesn't want anybody to know. It's kind of like her secret thing. And near the end of the book, she has an opportunity to actually reveal herself with this art. And when she starts pulling out the artwork that she's got stashed around her place, it's just like, whoa.
Pretty amazing.
Uh-huh. And it's kind of a combination of, would you say pen and ink and doodling, or well, how would you describe it?
It starts out as doodling because doodling is normally a very mindless thing. It's very distracting. It then slowly it morphs into painting, and then she combines both the techniques to make the art her own style.
Okay. Well, Anita is just such a wonderful character, and we really feel for her. We really want her to be happy. But I just want to thank you for the book and for coming out to talk to us about it. It's called Before We Were Women by Dr. Sunita Reddy. And is there one question that I have not asked you that you'd like to answer? And what would that be?
I cannot think of such a question.
Really? Well, I guess my job has been done. Well, it's so nice to meet you, and congratulations on your first book, and I hope you get a lot of readers.
Thank you. I hope so too.
They did a lovely job on it. It's called Before We Were Women by Dr. Sunita Reddy, and if her name's familiar, you might want to look at your birth certificate.
Oh, goodness.
Right?
I might have signed it.
Right?
Yes.
You might have.
I deliver patients who I have delivered.
Wow.
Yes. It's a full circle.
Well, I'll never forget one time I hurt myself. I was in high school, and I went into the emergency room. I burst my bursa in my knee. I slammed into a wall, and the doctor on call comes walking in there, and I looked up, and it was the guy who delivered me.
Oh, my goodness. What a coincidence.
And he sewed me up. I'm like, hi, Dr. Vanetta. I was like, wow.
So cool.
That was so cool.
So cool.
Well, thank you so much. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Our pleasure.
To talk to you.
You've been listening to the Book Nook on WYSO. Once again, it's Before We Were Women by Dr. Sunita Reddy for the Book Nook.